Hi, we're back. So let's carry on here. Uh, I distracted you a little bit with that little tool that we sent out last time, that balance tool. But I think it's really important that we help people recognize where they are at. People think they know where they're at, but they don't always know where they're at. So using that compassionately and regularly will uh, really help the clients start to recognize their own capacity to change. Okay, so take a look at another little piece here. So a problem or symptom. When we ask someone to give up their drug of choice, we're asking them to give up the only thing they have that works for them. That is scary. That's frightening. It is stressful. And one of the really complicating things about dealing with substance use issues is they started as a method of dealing with stress, a method of dealing with how people were feeling about whatever, themselves or their situation or whatever. Then the drug itself becomes something that is stressful if you try and take it away. So we have to give people something that's going to, why isn't this working? Okay, we'll do this way. Uh, uh, help them. So we need to look at the person, not the problem. People develop a really strong emotional relationship with their drug, and it takes strong information to change that thinking. So one of the things that we have to introduce is the voice that what we are trying to do is help you learn how to feel okay or even better than the drugs made you feel by changing stuff. So look at a little piece of brain stuff here. So this part of the brain that's lit up here is called the amygdala. That's that's the seat of our response reward system. When something excites us, stresses us, frightens us, it's our amygdala that lights up and creates all of the reactions that we're going to have. Normally, it's really responsive. 6 months of regular drug use, doesn't matter what the name of the drug is, if it's been regularly used to de-stress, to solve problems, that kind of thing, really weakens the amygdala's response. So what that means is that normal stuff doesn't seem to be as interesting or as exciting as it should be. And people's reaction is, I'm bored. Anytime you hear somebody in early recovery say that they're bored, what that means is that their brain's trying to get better. Their brain's trying to find something else to get it excited. And so we can start to help them do that, whether it's going for a walk or having a chat or doing some artwork or doing some breathing exercises, whatever we can do to help them recognize that without the drug, you can still feel better is going to be helpful. And then a year of too much, too often, and the amygdala is really much less responsive. I just have to pause this for a sec. So if we start looking at what's going on with the brain, this can be really helpful to help people understand what's happening with it. So this is a top-down SPECT scan. SPECT stands for single proton emission technology scan of a 18-year-old boy's brain who doesn't use drugs or alcohol. And this is the same kid with looking at his brain up from the bottom. So this part up here is the thinking, figuring out, problem solving part. This is the emotional core. Side areas are kind of learning and memory, and then this is the physical stuff. And then this is a 17-year-old girl who's been smoking weed for 2 to 3 years, kind of 3-4 times a week kind of thing. So marijuana doesn't put holes in your brain, but what it does do is it reduces the availability of dopamine. And dopamine is fuel for brain function. So what we see here, these areas that look like holes, are areas that are not getting fed properly because of the cannabis's, the THC's interference in the brain's capacity to deliver dopamine to all the different parts of the brain. So this part is the, like I said, decision-making, judgment making, figuring out stuff, intellectual processing, impulse control, self-assessment, like, am I really okay? That kind of stuff. And those things, stress management, those things become much more difficult because this brain's not working well. This is emotional core. This is the limbic system. So people don't feel the things that they could. And to be really honest, that's why a lot of people like to use drugs, because they stop them from feeling. Side areas are learning and memory, so those are corrupted. That level of use hasn't significantly impacted her physically as of yet. It takes about 3 months of zero use to get back to here. That's one of the beautiful things about adolescent brains, is that they have huge recovery capacity, but they're not going to get better if you continue to use. This is a 24-year-old who's a weekend binge drinker. He gets hammered on the weekend. And that looks worse than the marijuana brain, but it isn't worse because of the drug. It's worse because of the length of time. So this person will have very similar kinds of issues. It's hard for them to think. It's hard for them to problem solve. Things seem more stressful. Things are more difficult to process and to manage. And then this is a 33-year-old who we would classify as somebody with a significant addiction issue. Cocaine, alcohol, cannabis, in various combinations. And that has significantly altered his brain's capacity to do what it's supposed to do. So again, this brain, this brain, this brain, and this brain can get back to normal levels of functioning in about 3 months of zero drug use. And I found over the years that just, helping people understand that that their drug use is changing their brain's capacity to function, and it can get better. It can be pretty helpful to get them starting to think about wanting to change things and stay on track. So I'll stop that and send this off to you, and we'll be back with some more.